Today, finally, the last part of Gog and Magog. It has given 21 conferences, but don't think that this is going to be the last of it. Yes, because it is simply going to change the title, and today you will confirm it, although in a slightly different phase. Let's begin. As you can see on this front page, the last of the ones that we will show, referring to Gog and Magog, if it is God's will, we can see precisely what we showed on one of our colloquiums that we have on Saturday afternoon. It appears in one of those Adventist pioneer books, The Great Battle of Armageddon, where all the nations were fighting, and that globe where precisely the areas that are affected by the outbreak of the war are marked. Well, having said this, let's go directly to a video. This video is going to serve us to do the change of parameters on today's matter. Pope Francis's trip to Russia will mark the beginning of the Great Tribulation, prophecy of Garabandal, and you will see what they tell that this prophecy says. Truly, the devil does not stop, and evidently he will not stop until he reaches his objective. Now, don't tell me that the video does not give enough to make quite some comments. Definitely, it is enough for making a colloquium on this subject. But in any way, Garabandal and so many manifestations that they say are divine things, coming from the Virgin and so on, truly an absolute satanic matter. But see how it takes a parallel way with the matter of Gog and Magog. Yes, because the devil knows the biblical prophecy. So what does he do? As always, the plagiarism. He copies it very well, but always at the end gives it his subtle touch so as to divert anyone. So what it is basically telling us is that the Pope, sooner or later, is going to Russia, and that when he comes back, it is when everything starts to mess up. That the war is not going to stay only in Europe, that it will probably extend to other countries, it says. And that Spain, what do you know, as it already passed through communism, well, now that it's not going to be so much affected. Well, I'm not surprised really, because it's more papist than the Pope. But anyway, notice how many things it says in the video. We could be commenting on it a lot. But definitely what we are interested in is notice that once more the parallelism with Russia, the matter of Russia, war, and where this is all going. It mentions also the problems that the Catholic Church will have to continue with its Catholicism everywhere. Well, we will see what ends up happening with all this. But notice that at the end it says, after all of this, what do you know, there will be something marvelous that will manifest itself, and a peace will be achieved that the world has never known. Once more, what parallelism with the biblical prophecy, but as always, taking it to the terrain of Satan, that the people will believe completely as something divine. Thank God that he gave us the authentic biblical knowledge, because on the contrary, we would be lost. That is why we must give the correct message to everyone, so that they can wake up and realize that this does not come from God. And now we are going to see what would seem to be a complete change on the topic. But you will see that it isn't, that it is the same. Look at this. This is the third temple. What is this about? This webpage is belonging to people that want to build the third temple in Jerusalem. The people of the Institute of the Temple Mount. Look at this. This is a plan of where the third temple in Jerusalem should be positioned. Well, and it's worth a while to remember, just in case someone does not notice, we already presented Gog, Magog, chapter 38 and 39 of Ezekiel, but then afterwards, the chapter 40 and onwards carries on everything having to do with a temple. Well, once more, this satanic plagiarism is to convert that into a reality. Practically now, A lot was said that, no, we could save the mosque, we could build a bit this way or the other. Look at these plans, because if you can see on it, the orange square, that is the extension that it will occupy. And there are a series of numbers. Well, see what they tell. These plans will be deposited by the Jerusalem municipality once the Temple Mount is released from the buildings that currently exist on it. Therefore, buildings out. So you know what that means, don't you? Afterwards, the Ministry of the Interior Committee will approve the municipality plans and approve construction from the District Committee. Our lawyers defend the projects before the municipality, the Ministry of the Interior and the Supreme Court. And what do they tell us? Join for free to build the third temple in Jerusalem. Why join the construction of the third temple? Well, here a series of departments are given so that you can enter and take a look. It says there are 54,471 members. And you would say, well, they're not so many, are they? Yes, but this initiative has not started long ago. This conference was done originally on September of 2022. Well, and look, this is extracted from their website. They have videos. The Third Temple, a place that unites us. Relations between Israel and Jordan, respect to the Temple Mount. Empiric evidence of the existence of Jewish temples on the Temple Mount. Because, as you know, there are many that say that there was never a temple there of the Jews. Of course, this coming from the Muslim part. Well, see also what else appears here. They have a gallery, all of it having to do with the temple matter. Zerubbabel and so many other things that you can see here. Priests, etc., etc. Look. Build it today for the benefit of world humanity. Our goal, accelerate the construction of the Third Temple for the benefit of all mankind. The Third Temple. The project, a brief historical overview of the Temple Mount, the Mount Temple today, pioneers of the Third Temple, about us. Then there are a series of departments, architecture, politics, construction, legal, education, media, also informations of contact, etc., etc. And at the bottom a series of flags with the copyright from 2021 to 23 with the countries of France, United States and Israel. Look, the Department of Education. The department's goal is to teach the stages of redemption. The justification for construction of the Third Temple today, the law of the red heifer, of which we have already talked about and we will continue, the azure thread, the tekelet, the Sanhedrin and all texts pertaining to the Third Temple. By way of lectures, clips to be produced in several languages, questions and answers, films and all forms of media, this education is aimed at everyone and particularly targets junior and senior high school principals, university professors, journalists, yeshiva directors, students, instructors. To broaden the learning, 32 training units are proposed. And let's see which are these training units. You can see them numbered, right? 1. Why build a temple to... Well, it says God, but they erase the O. They do not say God, so they put a hyphen. 2. The azure thread, tekelet. 3. The red heifer. 4. Composition of Sanhedrin members' authority. 5. Participation of everyone for the Third Temple. 6. Temple Mount over time. 7. Gog and Magog war. Well, it seems they have very clear the future of the circumstances, and they have more until the number 32, with also the temple throughout generations, from a portable house of worship in the desert tabernacle to the Third Temple, the tabernacle at Shiloh, the First Temple and the Second Temple, structure and architecture, the mitzvah to build the Third Temple, the Third Temple, the prophecy of Ezekiel, look at that, the Torah Ark, uniqueness, the altar, the menorah, the table of showbread, the altar of incense, Keteret, the role of the Cohens and the Levites, that is the priests and the Levites, the reason behind making sacrifices, yes, because they are going to go back to that, the daily sacrifice, the role of the high priest of Israel on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, holiday sacrifices, the metaphysical and spiritual world of the third temple. That sounds weird, doesn't it? Grain sacrifices, the first fruits of the 7 species of Israel, tithes, when and how to rehabilitate the Sanhedrin. Can one ascend the Temple Mount today? The exact location of the third temple, the roles of the synagogues after the third temple, daily life of the temple, the anticipated impact of the third temple on humanity. What are the various stages of construction of the temple? Now, these are the 32 points that they present. And some points. Do you realize the connection with what we have presented until now of Gog and Magog? Impressive, right? Let's carry on. The lessons will be filmed and can be viewed by video on the website with subtitles in 3 different languages: French, English, Hebrew. Other languages will be soon available: Russian, Spanish and Arabic. These courses will be provided free of charge so that we train the maximum number of people who will be responsible for the concrete implementation of the project. Well, as you can see then, when we saw those 3 flags, it is because of the 3 languages that are available right now. Theoretically, it comes from this. The lessons will be taught at the center. Bridge to the Third Temple in Jerusalem in 2025. Do you remember anything on that year that we showed? The Pope on duty, either this one or the next one, Kazakhstan, meeting of religions and religious traditions of the world. Yes, but also remember that it was a key moment, remembering a council there was in the Catholic Church, and how from that moment, what they are searching completely is the total ecumenism. Well, let's go on. In the meantime, they are taught at various sites in Israel and around the world. How it all adds up, hey? The training units will also be available on the thirdtemple.org website. What are these training units? Well, they are groups that they create in different places to be able to comprehend things better. The training center will also maintain ties with the Jewish religious authorities, yeshivot, rabbinate, decision makers in the legal arena, halachic arbitrators, but also with other religions. Christianity, evangelism, Protestants, Islam. Well, see how they mix things, because they are saying Christianity for Catholicism. Evangelism and Protestants, they put it as 2 different things. Well, it seems as if they were a bit misinformed. We will provide answers to the most frequently asked questions that will be published in the FAQ area of the website. In order to circulate the information and content as much as possible, we are interviewing experts in specific fields. Below are the questions currently being reviewed. Attention, eh? 1. If a red heifer is found today, can we burn it under the biblical laws? Why? 2. Should we wait to build the temple before we burn the red heifer? Who can verify that the red heifer satisfies the 100 criteria set forth in the Halacha? 3. Was the Temple Mount free, and if a political decision is made, can we build the third temple today? Why? 4. Do we know the exact location of the future Holy of Holies? 5. Does the azure thread, teklet, that is increasingly found in Israel satisfy the Torah's expectations? 6. The Sanhedrin will be active in the third temple. Who will head it? 7. Can the Knesset and the Sanhedrin coexist? That is, the Parliament and the Sanhedrin. 8. How will the dwelling of the divine presence, the Shekinah, be manifested after the third temple is built? What some questions? Well, from this moment, what kind of answers can you give? Who is going to be in that place? Who is going to appear as if he were God? Who is going to manifest his glory in quotation marks? Satan as if he were Christ, eh? How interesting. 9. When can we say that the nation of Israel is united and ready for the third temple? 10. How should one feel about the absence of a temple? The answers to these questions and to future questions will be published for all interested parties. We seek excellence in studying and expertise on the subject and will not leave any question unanswered. Well, more things, just in case you haven't been surprised enough. A series of videos. What should the Jewish people do to prepare for the third temple? How can the golden chandelier illuminate the world? The incense in the temple. If we want, we can build the third temple today. Why join the construction of the third temple? I want to build the temple. And bam, you can click there and voila, to collaborate. Well, anyway, let's see what they say in the Department of Architecture. Attention, hey? Our team of architects is responsible for the preparation of plans for the third temple. They honor the prophecy of Ezekiel, based on the comments of Rashi, along with those of the Vilna Gaon, Malbim and Ramchai, each of whom clarified and made accessible verses, well, they say verses, but really it's chapters, 40 to 47 of the book of Ezekiel. These programs take into account the latest techniques, especially in terms of environmental protection and the latest standards. These plans will be deposited by the Jerusalem municipality once the Temple Mount is released from the buildings that currently exist on it. Afterwards, the Ministry of the Interior Committee will approve the municipality plans and approve construction districts committee. Our lawyers defend the project before the municipality, the Ministry of the Interior and the Supreme Court. And in the image you can see the team of architects for the construction of the third temple. The exact model of the third temple is already prepared and was created on a scale of 1/50th. It can be viewed at the Visitor Center that will open its doors in Jerusalem in 2025. Well, they like 2025, right? The square building, which is 150 meters long and 150 meters wide, and of varying heights, can be seen throughout Jerusalem. Construction will begin once these plans receive approval from the Jerusalem Municipality Building Permit. The future development plans of the Jerusalem Municipality to receive visitors from around the world are already prepared. Additionally, preparation for road maps, electrification, trams and all roads are currently ongoing. And here you have, below on the left, the model of the third temple, and on the right, 3D view and models of the third temple. How curious, right? 2025, and the Pope also is planning this for 2025. They have this for 2025 also. Something is cooking, right? And there is a communion nexus here that gives a lot to think about between one and the other. Of course, if the papacy has to end up settling there, it is not surprising. Well, let's continue, because then they show us this also. Everyone should be free to pray to God where they want, in the language they want, and in any position that suits them. Membership is free and without obligation. Your data is strictly confidential. Receive project progress by email. Registrate. Do not ask for donation. Your data will remain private. To build the third temple of Jerusalem, we need your voice for us to be heard. If you want to be part of the project, click on Registrate and fill in the form. Well, you can imagine how many people have started already to collaborate since this began. And what do you know? A news from the 7th of September of 2022 from this media, Israel 365 News, Ben Gurion gearing up to bring all 70 nations straight from the airport to Third Temple. Well, such a news, right? All who survive of all those nations that came up against Yerushalayim shall make a pilgrimage year by year to bow low to the King, Lord of hosts, and to observe the festival of Sukkot, Tabernacles. Zechariah chapter 14, verse 16. Evidently, they are going to apply this text when? When they have the third temple of Jerusalem. That is how they apply the biblical prophecies. Everything that could not be, they are going to do it. But evidently, as it could not be God's will, because he took what was withdrawn from them by force to pass on to the Christian church, the authentic one, okay? Well, now the devil, what is he trying to do? To apply that is written, and the whole Christian world, as they call themselves, will fall on all fours to this deceit, and of course the Jews as well. That is why, yes, there will be a great awakening when they know the truth, but it will be a minority, because most part will be spellbound with this, especially when Satan will appear as if he were Christ. Can you imagine, after tremendous slaps of convulsions, of war conflagrations, how people will be yearning this for peace? Yes, yes. Well, take a look. Israel is upgrading its already impressive international airport. The government is also working on a railway infrastructure that will bring international travelers directly from the airport to the Temple Mount. This will enable all 70 nations to come to worship God in Jerusalem's house of prayer, a vision that the government has already hinted is their true intention. Yes, as you know, this symbology of 70 is of the symbology of all the nations. The Director General of the Airports Authority, Haggai Topolansky, announced that in 2023, Ben Gurion International Airport will open a new mega terminal. In the western part of Terminal 3, at Ben Gurion Airport, another advanced terminal will be built that will combine innovation and efficiency, and expand the services available for passengers going abroad. Starting next year, Terminal 3 will go through a digitization process that will make it possible for passengers to manage their departures abroad easily and independently, Topolansky said. The new terminal will be 30 meters wide and 130 meters long, adding 22 check-in counters, a security check system, and conveyors connected to the HBS systems, hold baggage screening. Our main goal is to improve the services provided to passengers through a strategy based on investments, innovation, and long-term vision that digitalize and improve the airport and thus improve services at Ben Gurion Airport and the flight experience for passengers, added Topolansky. It was also announced that with the approval of the authority's board and management, the engineering division began to plan the construction of the fifth wing for aircraft parking in the airport, adding areas for checking passenger baggage, connecting baggage conveyors, establishing additional food complexes, and establishing additional VIP rooms. Israel National News reported that 2 million passengers will pass through the airport during September. In October, approximately 2 million more passengers are expected to pass through on international flights. In 2019, Ben Gurion handled 24.8 million passengers. The airport is considered among the 5 best airports in the Middle East due to its passenger experience and high level of security. Recently signed normalization agreements with neighboring Arab countries have increased air routes for Israel and opened up Israel to Arab tourists. How interesting this, right? Because we have been showing this in the current news conferences that we do. How Israel is doing deals, also with the support of the United States, with certain Arab countries. And this is starting to create tourism and business. And look, precisely before what they are planning to do. This goal they are looking for. In 2020, Israel's Transportation Ministry said that it would move ahead with plans to build an extension of the Tel Aviv's Jerusalem high-speed line that would directly connect Tel Aviv's Ben Gurion International Airport to the Western Wall in Jerusalem. A proposal was made to name the future Temple train station after Donald Trump. Well, it is not surprising. With what we've already presented, it is not surprising. If you don't know what this is about, then take a look at the conferences we have on Donald Trump and his election, and also that's news as how they had put Donald Trump on a coin with the third temple, as if he were an ancient character, a Cyrus, That's what helped the Jewish people. Hey? Will Donald Trump win in the next elections? Well, this makes you think, doesn't it? The plan is experiencing stiff opposition from the Palestinian Authority, which wants Jerusalem as the capital of an Arab state inside Israel. The PA, the Palestinian Authority, also denies that the Jewish temples described in the Bible ever existed. Transportation infrastructure will play an essential role in the Third Temple as a house of prayer for all nations. This was clearly in the minds of the Jerusalem municipality when they distributed brochures in the ultra-Orthodox neighborhoods of Jerusalem in July to address concerns about increasing the light rail system. The brochures featured religious Jews riding the light rail to the Third Temple, bearing animal and vegetable sacrifices. Yes, this they are going to repeat. And what does it mean? It means to stamp on Christ's sacrifice. They do not want him as the Messiah. Therefore, they will go back to the same thing. And then Satan will appear as if he were the Messiah, and it will be fine for them. He will convince them that the one that came was the authentic Messiah, and that he was killed impersonating the role of Jesus, and that now he has returned, and please now all of us, let's be united. And that is what they are going to do. And that is why all of them will fall on their knees. Here is what I was mentioning. This morning I published a long article, this is from Nir Hasson, about the fight against the Green Line in Bar Ilan Street. On the sidelines, the Jerusalem municipality recently distributed informational brochures about the light rail in ultra-Orthodox neighborhoods. The main narrative of the booklet is that the train will join Jerusalem after the redemption. There will be a direct line to the temple, and there will be room for the victims in the first car. Yes, the victims in the first car. And you can see here in the picture as they get off the train with sheep around their necks and so on. Rabbi Yekutiel Fish, who writes a Geula and Kabbalah blog in Hebrew called Sod HaChashmal, the secret energy, explained, Hashem, God, literally the name, is preparing the way for the pilgrims to arrive at the temple. Rabbi Fish told Israel 365 News. Practically, a train is the best means since it can carry many more people without the dangers or traffic jams associated with highways. He related an anecdote in his blog about Rabbi Yehoshua Leib Diskin, a leading rabbi in Jerusalem in the late 19th century. Fish related that Rabbi Diskin heard the whistle of the first train to arrive in Jerusalem in 1892 and said, "They are clearing the way for Moshiach, Messiah, and the Geula redemption is on the way." Well, what's a prophecy, right? He was a Kabbalist, a prophecy that definitely from God did not come, it's evident, right? But from Satan, yes. And see how he was seeing everything already. Why? Why a line to follow? It does not fail the agenda, and they reveal it when it is the moment, to who he pleases, and they are those who serve him, evidently. Fish sees this pre-Messiah train phenomenon being played out to an even stronger degree with a new high-speed track that will bring travelers directly from Ben Gurion International Airport to the Western Wall in Jerusalem. The train is expected to begin service in April, just in time for the Passover holiday. Yes, these are the spring festivals. A high-speed train is precisely what is needed for Passover, when all of Israel is required to bring their sacrifice to the temple. Fish told Breaking Israel News. Hashem, God literally the name, is preparing the way for the pilgrims to arrive at the temple. Well, is this God that is preparing this, or is it Satan? And God allows this, because since they do not accept the truth, God shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. Yes, because they have hardened against God. They do not want the truth. How sad the amount of animals that will be sacrificed. And for what reason? You can see. Fish explained that the train has unique characteristics that make it the most fitting means of transport for pilgrimage. Practically, A train is the best means, since it can carry many more people without the dangers or traffic jams associated with highways, Fish said. In Gematria, Hebrew numerology, Rakavet equals 622, precisely the same as Har Habayit, the Temple Mount, Fish said. Well, so you can see, the Gematria and its Kabbalahs, they associate it always in some ways that are applicable. You can see how. It is true that there is a Gematria that is good, that is correct, and then is the other one that is used to do their messes. Truly messes, yes. As always, the parallel way of the devil to God's numbers and their significance. And that is how they apply with words, that kind of numeration, to achieve certain associations of ideas, of concepts, of names, and therefore they already have a reference, and that is how they work. Earlier we saw that they were asking if they knew the exact location of the future Holy of Holies, where the Ark of the Covenant was. Well, I must tell you that by writings that I have read, they consider precisely that it was placed where Muhammad ascended to the sky, in that rock where they say it still preserves his footprint. And also the Jews say that precisely it is the place where Adam was created, and the place also where all the waters of the flood closed. So, as you can see, how is a mosque placed in the middle there going to hold up if they want to do this? Are you starting to imagine what is being prepared for all of this? I'm talking about something colossal, a brutal conflict, so that all of this can be done. Otherwise, it won't be possible, unless there would be some changes. Well, so you can see, what do you know Gog and Magog takes to the construction of the third temple in Jerusalem? Yes, it is where the situation is going to. And you have seen also how those satanic prophecies manifested through the Virgin Mary, between quotation marks, obviously, because it is not Mary, the mother of Jesus, that is still dead, that is still in the tomb until the resurrection, because she is going to be saved, evidently, but in the meantime, she is not in heaven, she is not manifesting to anyone, and Satan takes her role, and in such a way, and people just swallow it. That is why it is so necessary to know God's word, the Bible, and not trust what anyone says, neither he be a pope or a priest or a reverend or a pastor. It doesn't matter. It is written. That is what counts. And the rest is rubbish. And this we must know, the truth, because the truth will set us free. Free from all of these deceptions that Satan is preparing to take the world captive to his feet. Do you imagine those moments of peace that they say to us, that all the nations will be worshipping there, and how afterwards it will all blow up in their faces? Yes, Satan's shot will definitely backfire, because God will intervene. Yes, according Garabandal, also yes, but that will not be God intervening. That will be the Lord in small letters, the Lord the devil. But at the end, the authentic God, Hashem, our Christ also, are going to act fully, because the payment for this world will come with the plagues. Yes, with the plagues. The true people of God that stay faithful to the end will have a terrible time, yes, and many will die, yes, but afterwards the eternity and God's justice will put everyone in their place. And to be in the moment of the plagues is not going to be very nice for all of them that have decided not to follow the ways of God. But not a hair will be touched from God's people. And having said this, we finish here the topic of Gog and Magog. It has given for 21 conferences, and it would have given for a lot more, yes, but all of the basics have been left more than clear. From this moment, let's see if someone can say that this is just wars and rumors of wars and that's it. Or that this is just a matter of the past and that's it. No, it's not. The truth has been exposed very clearly. Or you take it or you leave it. There is no other way. But do not look for excuses. Don't look for excuses, because your salvation is at stake. and that of all of those that may listen to you. So from this moment, where has all of this taken us? As we said, to the third temple of Jerusalem. And now what's next? Did you see that they spoke about the red heifer? Well, this is what we are going to show practically now. Yes, because what a shake-up there is with the red heifer. And we are going to show it, and it is worth for you to see it, because truly it is all being prepared for the great deception. And the world must know the truth, and we must position ourselves, giving the message of the fourth angel, so that many can see the evidence and be saved. Maranatha 2031. May God bless you.